Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome, everybody, to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive. And I, as usual, have a show for you that comes straight out of my own experience. I'm an emotional eater through and through, dyed in the wool. I'm free today. I am not overeating and haven't in a long time. Thank God. Praise God. But I ain't far from the fire. I will tell you, if I don't live the path that I teach, if I don't walk my talk, I will be right back eating chips and ice cream and cookies and cake and nibbling on this, that, and the other. So I share straight from my personal experience because I know as an emotional eater, if I share about me and what I'm going through, chances are if you're an emotional eater, you're going to get it. And that's what happens here at the Heal Your Hunger Show. I share about emotional eating straight from an emotional eater's perspective, and you as an emotional eater get me. You get me, and I get you. And that's what makes the connection here at Heal Your Hunger so powerful. All right? Because other people, they don't get us. They're like, just cut it out or just eat less and exercise more. Thanks for that, brilliant information. But that doesn't work. It's not enough. Okay. So if you don't know if you're an emotional eater and you're like, maybe I am, you can actually take a quiz on my website. It's literally the emotional eating quiz. It'll tell you if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. And if you are an emotional eater, there's levels, okay? There's gradations, and find out where you are on the emotional eating spectrum. I mean, I think we're all, we all have the ability to emotionally eat. So the question is, where are you on that spectrum? Are you in the food addiction arena on that spectrum? Are you a food addict? Are you an emotional eater? Are you an advanced emotional eater? If you take that quiz on the website, you will literally get a personalized score and you'll know for sure. Okay. So definitely check that out. And also check out the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. Join us there. That's where I am doing a lot of recording from, presenting, and that's where we have our best deals and we present them there first. Okay. We tell you about our inside deals and upcoming events, and we'd love to have you join us for those. And it's the best place to learn and get the firsthand, right, hot off the press information. Go to Facebook and type in the Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating and join us there. Okay, on with the show. The 7 Perils of People-Pleasing. Now, this just came about organically because I was feeling pissed off, okay? Maybe I should call this being pissed off as a people pleaser. People-pleasing, pissed off woman. I don't know. But anyway, point is, I was pissed off. I started writing about it. My biggest recommendation, if you've got issues, write about it. Write about it. Dig into it. Don't play the victim. See what's going on. So I was feeling pissed off. I put it to the paper, pen to the paper, and lo and behold, I saw that I'm pissed off because I'm people pleasing. And this is happening a few places in my life, okay? I am a recovering people pleaser, but I am not a cured people pleaser, and I still can get into it. I still can do that little dance of wanting people to like me. I hate to admit it. I want to tell you I'm strong as a bull, and I don't let anybody run roughshod over me, and I say how I feel every time, and I don't pussyfoot, la la la. Not true. All right, I'm a great pussyfooter. I'm so much better than I used to be, but I am not cured. Trust me, I still want people to like me. I still am afraid when somebody doesn't, or I'm afraid when somebody's mad at me. I get all insecure. The difference is I don't eat over it, by the grace of God. Okay, I'm going to put a little knock on wood on that one, but I don't eat over it. It doesn't drive me to the food. I write about it. I dig into it. I take a look. So what I found is there's a few places in my life right now where I'm people pleasing. So I started writing all the problems that I've gotten myself into around people pleasing. And it just presented itself to me, the 7 perils of people pleasing. So I'm going to share about this, short and sweet, to the point. I want you to get this because so often people think that they're doing somebody else a favor when they people please. Problem is, People-pleasing pleases nobody. People-pleasing pleases nobody. And we have to take responsibility for the fact that we're creating the problems in our lives. Stop being a victim. You are not a victim. Rarely are we truly victims. If we do a little digging and take a look at ourselves honestly, we'll see that we're creating the messes. So I've created a mess by people pleasing, and I'm going to tell you what these 7 perils are. First of all, I'm not going to go into specifics about the situation, but I am in a situation in my life. I am not being honest. So this is the first peril of people pleasing, is that I'm not being honest. I'm people pleasing, which means I'm not saying how I really feel. Do you relate to that? I'm not saying how I really feel. And that is dishonest, okay? Let's not sugarcoat this. I am lying if I'm omitting my true feelings about something. Now, I don't mean we go around telling everybody, the truth in terms of what we think about their outfit or their hair or, their profession, whatever. No, I'm not talking about that kind of honesty. I'm talking about self-honesty. If I'm not speaking, my truth in terms of how I feel about a situation because I want people to like me, I am being dishonest. So that's the first peril. The second peril is that I'm living in fear. I'm living in fear. I'm afraid of what people will think of me, so I'm lying, right? I'm sugarcoating how I feel about things. I'm dancing. I'm doing that little people-pleasing dance, and I'm basically doing it out of fear. So I'm living in fear, and this is one of the problems with people-pleasing, is we're not standing up tall. We're not being our authentic selves. We're cowering in fear. We don't want anybody to be mad at us. We don't want people to, scold us or reject us or be upset with us. So we live in fear. And what happens when we live in fear? Well, we don't like ourselves, right? We don't like who we are. I mean, I used to literally, before my recovery path, I used to scorn myself for being, I used to call myself spineless. I was so angry at myself because I was living in fear, because I was so afraid of boldly being myself. And so I was a chameleon. I would change into all kinds of colors so that other people would be happy with me. And I was living in fear, and I hated myself as a result. So that's a problem. If I hate myself, what's the next step? Punishing myself with food. And I did plenty of that. Okay. If you've ever heard me talk about the PEP formula, these are the 3 primary drivers of overeating. The first P being using food as a painkiller. The E is using food as an escape. And the second P, the last P in PEP, is using food as a form of punishment. I punished myself because I hated myself, and I hated myself because I was living in fear. It was an inner dialogue. You're so spineless, Tricia. Grow a backbone. And I was spineless. I didn't say how I really felt. I didn't have strength of character because I wanted everybody to like me. So I wasn't honest. So that's the second peril, is I'm living in fear. And it is perilous. It's perilous to live in fear because we will end up overeating. And if you're trying to lose weight and keep it off, and you're not stepping out in faith, but you're cowering in fear, there will be a part of you that will not respect yourself, and you'll beat yourself up with food. Okay? Hey, this is what the Heal Your Hunger show is about. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I owe you the truth. Okay? I owe you the truth. The third peril of people pleasing is resentment. We always end up resentful when we're not honest, when we don't tell the truth, when we aren't who we really are. When we're wearing that mask, we end up resentful. And that's where I've ended up. In a few situations in my life, I'm resentful. And when I went to write, it wasn't just resentment. There was some anger there. I was angry and resentful. And again, if I sit on this too long, I will overeat, you guys. I am not cured. I am not an emotional eater that's cured. I'm living in freedom today. But if I don't catch this stuff, I will overeat. I promise you. I live in freedom one day at a time, but I have to clean up my messes. And people pleasing creates messes. So I'm living in resentment. I'm gnawing on a few situations. I'm angry at the other person. But when I start to write, I'm like, oh, who am I really angry at? Myself. Of course. because I'm not being honest. It's not their fault I'm not being honest. It's my own damn fault. So I'm building resentment, and resentment will block me. It will block my happiness. It will block my freedom. It will block my connection with a higher power. That's how perilous resentments are. And if I people please, I will end up resentful. And of course, we're angry at the other person, but it's really us we're angry at because we're not living honestly. The third peril of people pleasing is that we create distance in our relationships. I just talked about creating distance in our relationship with God. That's pretty important, right? If you want help from God, if you consider yourself a spiritual person, but you're gnawing on resentments, you're angry at people in your life, you're not living honestly, you're not living spiritually. Don't fool yourself that you're tight with God when you're pissed off and resentful and people-pleasing. What people think of you as your God, and it's getting you into trouble, it's causing resentment, and it's creating a block between you and your higher power. God can't get through when you're filled with anger and rage. We are a channel for spirit, but we have to keep that channel open. And resentment and anger and blame and rehearsing hurts blocks that channel. The other distance that we create when we people please is distance with our relationships. It will block the channel of love with people we love. Okay, so resentment destroys relationships. Ask any person who's divorced. You know, there was so much built up resentment, they couldn't live in peace anymore. Like there's just these little irritations, and if we don't take care of them, they become mountains that are in the way of love and connection and effective living together. It creates distance in relationships of all kinds. So that's a big peril of people pleasing, is you will create distance with other people and you'll ultimately feel isolated and alone. So if you have problems with loneliness, and you have people around you, perhaps there's a buildup of resentment. The fifth peril of people-pleasing is that when we're people-pleasing, we're trying to control relationships. We're basically manipulating. It's a hard truth, but it is true. We are manipulating other people by not speaking our mind. We're literally saying, I'm going to be a chameleon. I'm going to contort myself into a pretzel so that things go how I want them to go. Do you see what I mean? We're trying to control other people's responses to us. We're trying to control other people's feelings about us. We're manipulators. When you people please, you're manipulating. All right? You're trying to control the situation. And how is that really going to end? It's not going to be good for the relationship. Honesty, forthrightness, authenticity, that's how to have an effective relationship. Not by doing a little dance, being cute, being funny, trying to make people like you, neglecting to say how you really feel. That's all just a prescription for disaster. The sixth peril of people pleasing, of course, is that we aren't trusting God. When we do that control thing, we're not trusting God to take care of the relationship. We're not trusting that if we just be who we're meant to be, which is who God meant for us to be, then basically we're playing God. Not only are we not trusting God, we're playing God. We're being God in our own relationships. So the best way we can be is to be who we are and trust God to take care of the results. If I lose a relationship by being authentic, how good was that relationship in the first place? How much did that relationship really serve me or the other person? If I'm a phony in a relationship, I'm doing nobody any good. I'm living a lie. And I promise you, living a lie will lead to overeating. How many times have you felt like you're living a double life? You show this one person on the outside and then you're another person on the inside. I used to feel like if anybody knew what I was thinking, I have a smile plastered on my face, but inside I'm angry and resentful and hating on this person I'm talking to. And I had this double life and I felt so guilty about it. Remember the PEP. The third, letter is P for punishment. I was punishing myself for being a phony. Friends, we can fool other people. We can't fool ourselves. We can't fool ourselves. So this is really important to take a look at. We have to trust that if we are who we're meant to be, if we speak our minds honestly, not mean, say what you mean what you say, but don't, for the life of you, don't say it mean. That doesn't help a relationship. And if you're honest along the way, there won't be a buildup where you just fire hose someone with how you really feel. That's just destructive. But trust that God will take you and the relationship where it needs to go when you just live authentically. Stop playing God. Stop being, the marionette and controlling everybody around you, which you can't anyway. Who are we kidding? We can't really control people. But the effort to try to control what people think of us, the effort to try to control the relationship will destroy you, and it'll make you overeat. So the 7 perils of people-pleasing are not being honest, living in fear, building up resentment, creating distance in your relationships, being controlling and manipulative in your relationships as a result, not trusting God to manage the relationship and have it be divinely guided, and then playing God. All right? Playing God, forgetting God completely and playing God. That's what we do when we people please. It's a harsh truth, but I owe you the truth. This comes out of my own experience. I'm maybe a little raw right now because I'm just waking up to some places that I've been people pleasing in my life. I don't like the result. Other people don't even know this, but as I said, I know it. I can't hide from the truth. I may have other people fooled. I don't have myself fooled. And the writing that I was doing was revealing to me that the problem is me. The problem's me. I got to stop people pleasing. I got to let the chips fall where they may and be honest. And I hope that this will inspire you to be as well. We're the only ones we can change. I know it would be nice if we could change other people, but not really, because that would be a big job, and a big job that would require a lot of food to do that job. So let's stop running the world. Let's stop controlling other people or attempting to. It's too big a job for us. As my mentor used to say, just focus on your own hula hoop. Just everything inside the hula hoop. That's it. Nothing outside the hula hoop. And everything will work out. Give it to God. Let God work out the details. Be yourself. I love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next show. If you're ready to get off the dieting roller coaster ride and finally make peace with food and with your body, talk to a Heal Your Hunger mentor about what steps you need to take based on your own history with food and weight. Go to healyourhunger.com and register for an emotional eating breakthrough session and see how fast you can experience real change. It's a complimentary evaluation, but there are limited spots available. So go to healyourhunger.com and register to speak with a mentor today.